Hello everyone, welcome back to Angela's Craft Room. Today I've got the stamp set Pop of Paradise for you. In a previous tutorial I did show you this card that I made using the Pop of Paradise, and I also just went through within the tutorial, the previous one, we just went through how I actually stamped the flamingo. It was more of a technique to tutorial. So I've come back today and we're going to make a card. We're not going to make the same card. This is a very basic card. All it was literally stamping the leaves first and then using the stitch shaped framelits, cut out the oval out of the vellum, and then I just adhered the flamingo to that oval and just added some rhinestones and a sentiment. So it was quite an easy card to do. So I didn't want to duplicate it. So we're going to use different colours this time, using the same stamp set. And in the previous tutorial I showed you what the flamingos looks like cut out just in one colour. So we're going to use those today on our card. So to start with, we're going to use a piece of Melon Mambo, which measures 11 inches long by 4 1/4 wide and scored at 5 1/2, and then just burnish that with your bone folder. And then we're going to have a piece which I've already stamped the flamingo on the piece for inside. I've used Daffodil Delight with that and stamped him in Melon Mambo, and that measures 5 1/4 by 4. So we'll put that straight in the inside of the card and then it's done. A bit of multi-purpose glue, and we'll pop that straight in there. And then I just like to close it and give it a rub. Then I'm not going to get gluey fingers. So that's the inside of the card already done. It's that simple. Okay, so then exactly the same, I'm going to put a mat of Daffodil Delight on top, which is exactly the same size as the inside, which was 5 1/4 by 4. And then I took a piece of the thick Whisper White and I put that through my embossing folder using the Softly Falling embossing folder, and that's going to go on top of there. And then I used the stitch shaped framelits and I cut out one oval, the largest oval, in basic black, and then the next size down in Melon Mambo, and lovely flamingos again to sit on top of there. So I'll just pop the base of the card away and I'll adhere this to the Daffodil Delight. So when I do layers of different coloured cardstock, my rule of thumb is I just go down by 1/4 inch each layer. So it's that easy. So once you know what the first layer was, I don't know whether I want to go down. I don't know which way I want to go now, whether I want to go down that way or... No, we'll go this way, I think. No, can't make up my mind. So we're going to put that on the yellow and just give that a bit of a rub. So it's a very easy card. So the next thing I want to do is I cut out basic black with my 1 1/4 inch punch, circle punch, and then, sorry, my Melon Mambo 1 1/4 inch punch, and then my basic black 1 1/2, so I could layer it on top. So I've stamped that in Melon Mambo, and you could clear emboss that sentiment and use your heat tool to set it if you wanted to, but I'm not going to do that this time. I'm just going to add 3 dimensionals on the back of there. So I'm trying to use the stamp sets and do 2 or 3 cards for you, so you can see, like when you buy a stamp set, don't leave it sitting on the shelf. Make 2 or 3 cards. It's my new rule for 2017. I'm going to, when I get a new stamp set, I'm going to make 2 or 3 cards with that stamp set. So that's there. And now I'm going to glue it on there now, because I want to see where I want my oval to be. So I'll just put a little bit of glue on the back of there. And I'm going to pop that down in the top right hand corner. So then I'm going to adhere that, I think, to the black oval. And just eyeballing it really, just to see, try and get it in the middle as much as I can. Then we've got Flirty Flamingo in black and one in Melon Mambo, and I think I will glue that one on there first, and then I will put some dimensionals on the other one once I have this on the card. You don't want too much glue because it just will ooze out everywhere. So less is always a little bit better, especially in the really finicky small spaces. So I'm just going to get my cotton bud and just dab that so it's all over. And then we're going to try and pop him on there, sort of in the middle. Doesn't matter if his head's going to be off a little bit or his feet's going to be off a little bit. Just adds a bit of character to your card. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put him on my card like that. See how far I can go up. It doesn't matter, like if you want to go under that circle where the sentiment is, you can do that as well. You don't have to have perfect proportions, like it's just what you like, what you prefer. So I'll just pop a bit of glue. You could even put dimensionals under this if you want to, but I'm going to put dimensionals under the other flamingo, so it's better for this one that he sits flat. I'm just going to pop him, Try and do it a little bit straight. Give it a bit of a rub. Just takes a couple of minutes for that glue to, a couple of seconds really, for that glue to take. Okay, so as long as most of it's stuck down there, that's the main thing. You can also add ribbon to your card. I'm not going to today, but you can if you want to. And then I'm just going to put some dimensionals under this one and have him sitting like off the card like that. So I'll most probably, I think I'll glue his head and neck, and his body and feet I need to put dimensionals on too. So if we put, say, 2 dimensionals onto his body, and then just where his, I might just have to trim that just a little bit, that dimensional. We don't want it peeking out. So the new catalogue for Stampin' Up, the new annual catalogue, went live 1st of June. If you're seeing this after the 1st of June, or if you're seeing it before, it goes live on the 1st of June 2017, and there's some lovely new stamps in there. So I just want to see where it sits on the main card and whether it matters if I had him. It won't matter that it's just coming. I really wanted him. Okay, so we're going to have to cut a dimensional up. I should have got the adhesive foam strips out, but we'll just cut one of these for now. See if that So would have been easier with the foam, adhesive foam strips. Because his legs are so thin, we just need a little bit. I think the foam strips would have been too wide anyway. So we just want a little bit there. And just would be good to have a little bit of adhesive under his other leg, but you just need like a little square. And there's some exciting news for those that use Stampin' Up! Dimensions a lot. There's some mini dimensionals coming, so I'm really super excited about that. I won't have to be cutting a lot of these up, because I do like my fussy cutting. Either you like it or you hate it, but I just think it adds a little bit more to your card when you're fussy cutting it. The image seems to pop off the page or a little bit more when you fussy cut. So we'll just put a piece under his head, because I was going to just glue his neck and that down, but I think by adding dimensionals it's just wouldn't have sat very well on my card at all. So I'm not going to worry about his neck. So we just need to peel off those backs of the ones we haven't. Okay, just try and get it off my finger without destroying it. Okay, so bring that back in, and because I just really wanted him to overlay them like that. Like that. So then we're just going to adhere it to the card, making sure that I'm doing it the right way up. So I'm hoping that this is going to be a short tutorial today for you. I'm trying my best to do shorter tutorials. And if you wanted to really stand this off your card, you could put foam adhesive strips underneath it. I do that sometimes, and it just really makes the front of your card stand out. So we just want that as straight as possible. Just depends how finicky you are. And I just hate it if I can see that it's not straight. And I think it looks really nice with the Falling Softly embossing folder behind it. So that's a really quick card, and if you wanted to, I do love my embellishments, I would just grab some of the rhinestones. Well, I'm going to pop one on the sentiment. And then just be careful where you're placing them on the card if you're using this Softly Falling, because you don't want to try and put it where there's a lot of embossing, but you can fit them like in between the parts where it is heavily embossed. And try and do them, like, don't do them in a row or anything, just try and, in this instance, just pop them. So this one's here, I wouldn't want one straight up there, I would want it over to the side a little bit. Just press that one down. So that just adds a bit of bling to your card. So that's the tutorial for today. That's the card, and it's quite easy card. If you missed the tutorial previous to this one, I did heat emboss the two flamingos. I clear embossed them and then just set it with my heat tool. And these, of course, are the stitch shape framelits. And then, just so you know, we've just used the Pop of Paradise stamp set. So I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial today. I hope it's given you a few ideas. And until next time, happy crafting.